I've just got the go-ahead. So very good evening to all of you, especially to our guests this evening, Santosh Hegde and Shashidhar Nagarajappa. It's a pleasure to have you on board here on this Decennial series. I think this is the fourth one that we are having. Basically, the Decennial series has been started in May or June this year because we are in the 10th year of serving both media and industry as a media house. Spearhead Media Private Limited was started in 2013, but the brand News Karnataka was started in 2012 in May, actually on May 29th. So we are in the 10th year, and we thought it fit to have a continuous celebration. And when we have a celebration, it's not fireworks like we just had during Deepavali. For us, a celebration is something where we give knowledge to others, gain knowledge ourselves. And so for this purpose, we have been having a series of lectures every month. And we have several keynote speakers coming. And this show is being shown live on YouTube and on our Facebook page. So we try to get as much knowledge as we can. And we also like to educate all our viewers and our readers. In fact, a gist of this program today will also appear in our news portals, both Kannada and English, tomorrow. I do not want to take too much of your time, but I would like to give you a brief about what News Karnataka is all about, what Spearhead Media is all about through a video. And I request Narayan, our chief technical person or Zoom master today, to play the video. It's a video about Spearhead Media. So it's a short video, about 3 to 5 minutes. So kindly watch it before we proceed. Thank you. Narayan, yeah.
Karnataka's coastal capital, Mangaluru, is where the legacy of Kannada journalism began centuries ago. In the same city, a journalistic frontrunner, Spearhead Media Private Limited, was born in 2013 with a motto of not-for-profit and maximum employability. The group is a crowd-funded initiative and the parent company of our state's most preferred news website, newskarnataka.com. Today, Spearhead Media, known as People's Corporate, including 45 plus shareholders, 100 plus contributors, advertising partners, individual benefactors, and internal team of young, dynamic journalists, also has a distinction of renewing itself periodically. The evolutionary process that established Spearhead Media has also established the company's flagship media subsidiaries, newskarnataka.com, an English news portal, newskannada.com, a Kannada news portal, Karnataka Today, a monthly all-color English feature magazine, NK Plus, a bilingual e-magazine for the youth of the state, NKTV, a YouTube platform for infotainment shows, NK Live to cover live events, NK Learn, an e-learning platform, Verdevice, a design and digital media hub, Village TV, a social initiative for rural youth, and an emerging Spearhead Academy, a center for media studies with infinite possibilities. The editorial independence and integrity of newskarnataka.com and Spearhead's all media subsidiaries is unparalleled in the industry since 9 amazing years. newskarnataka.com has had one statement of purpose: truth endures. It is News Karnataka team's commitment to their obligations that has helped the brand endure and grow over time.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it going. Media House of the Year, Spearhead Media Private Limited, Mangalore. Media House of the Year, Spearhead Media Private Limited, Mangalore. Media House of the Year, Spearhead Media Private Limited, Mangalore.
Yeah, thank you very much, Narayan and Brijesh. That was something about Spearhead Media. And just for the information of our guest tonight, uh, Spearhead Media actually received the Media House of the Year award from the hands of the Chief Minister of Goa, Mr. Pramod Sawant, earlier this month, I think in September. It was for the year 2021. It's a PRCI Chanakya Award. That's the Public Relations Council of India. So it's a prestigious award, which is an all India award with the jury and everything. And basically, we have received this award for the various initiatives we have taken. That's number one. Number two, for sticking to our principle of truth endures. We don't go in for sensationalism. We are more sensitive than sensational. And now, with this opening remarks, I would like our my co-director. We are just two directors on the board of directors, and of course, Mr. CA Valerian Delmaita is our mentor and advisor, who is also part of the board in the sense that he's guiding the entire team. So I would like my colleague Mr. Kenute Jeevan Pinto. He is also a member of the Konkani Sahitya Academy, also a director of our board, to give his opening remarks to all of us and also brief the guests about our work here and what we are planning to do in the future. Over to you, Kenute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Brian Fernandes, CEO and co-director of News Karnataka and Spearhead Media Group. And I take this opportunity to firstly welcome all who are present during this very special webinar series what we are conducting on as part of our Decennial celebration. To begin with, I just want to tell about News Kannada, why it's special. Every time when we approach or whenever I talk about this company, people ask what's different and what's new. So News Kannada is one such company which I wherever proudly say that it is a crowd-funded initiative in media industry. Either it is either owned by a single owner, or it is you can categorize into religious owned or corporate owned. But News Karnataka is one such company which is a people corporate, where people own it. The people are the readers. It might be the staff, or it might be the stakeholders. They own it and they run it for the people. As we say, a democratic system has been established within the media house. When saying this, for the past 10 years, as our motto says, truth endures. We have stood with it. And to do this, because it's a crowd-funded company, since the shareholders doesn't get involved with our operations, it has helped us to be truthful to our readers, be truthful to the country. Now, saying this, over a period, media industry has changed by itself. There are a lot of challenges. Today, we can see there are challenges in every arena. It's because of various reasons, which individually we may not need to name it. But then, what happens is when we have reached this 10 years, glorious 10 years, showing to the people what media can do truthfully. Now, there are challenges going ahead from here. When we have done this in the past 10 years, we have to continue this legacy to the future. So then, when we all came together, this whole team of the management and the staff came together to discuss about how we can celebrate our Decennial celebration aptly. Then the idea came was, let's talk to the stakeholders. When we say stakeholders, the people who read News Karnataka, the people who understand media, the people who can give ideas about truthful, people-centric media. They can come together and give the idea about how we can go about in the future coming days. So with this idea, we started to start this various webinar series on different topics. So we have already touched banking segment, and we understood how how media can help banking. We touched other segments, including travel and tourism. We are planning to touch, and today we are touching on the social aspect. So at this very occasion, I would like to welcome today's guests who are with us, and for our happiness, we have two very prominent guests who are with us in this evening's webinar series. To begin with, Justice Santosh Hegde. Justice Santosh Hegde was born in a Tulu-speaking Band family to a former judge and a judge of Supreme Court, Justice K.S. Hegde, and his wife Meenakshi Hegde. He is one of 6 children born to the couple. Born in 1940 in Nitte, Udupi district, Sir had his early education at the famed St. Aloysius College, Bangalore, and Madras Christian College in Madras. He completed his intermediate exam from St. Joseph's College, Bangalore, and BSc degree from Central College of Bangalore. Santosh Hegde graduated with a law degree from Government Law College, Bangalore in 1965. Nitte Santosh Hegde was appointed as a judge of Supreme Court of India on 8/1/1999. He retired as Judge of Supreme Court of India in June 2005. He was conferred honorary doctorate of law degree by Mangalore University in 2005 for a brief period. Sir worked as chairperson of Telecom Dispute Settlement Appellate Tribunal, New Delhi. He was then appointed as Lokayukta of Karnataka State on 3rd August 2006 for a term of 5 years. And yes, then every single citizen of this country, and specifically Karnataka, remembers Santosh Hegde for all good that he has done to the people of this land. The Lokayukta had exposed major irregularities, which I don't want to name individually, but the whole of the state knows how Santosh Hegde could handle those cases. So with this, we all know that he is from one of the best parties, that News Karnataka was born in this Tulunadu, what we call as the coastal Karnataka, and also Nitte Santosh Hegde is also born in this same Tulunadu, this coastal Karnataka. And also one more important thing is that 2016, when I was just joining this company after my reporting in UAE, we had a 5th year celebration and an office inauguration, and Sir Santosh Hegde had graced this occasion. So with this, I present to all our viewers Justice Santosh Hegde. Welcome, sir. Welcome to this.
Thank you.
Also, we have our second guest of the day, Shashidhar Nagarajappa. I have his biodata in Kannada, so I also would like to introduce Shashidhar sir in Kannada only. Shashidhar Nagarajappa, ಇವರು 1977ರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರ ಹುಟ್ಟು. BA MBA ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ಇವರು ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರೇಟ್ ಪದವಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಇವರು ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಮಾಜ ಸೇವೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರು, ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ ದುಬೈ ಇದರ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಿತ್ರರು UAE ಇದರ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಇವರು. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಘಟಕ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಫಾರಂ UAE ಇದರ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರು. ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಒಕ್ಕೂಟ ಇದರ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅನಿವಾಸಿ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಮಿತಿ ದುಬೈ KNRI ಇದರ ಜಂಟಿ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸಂಘ ದುಬೈ ಇದರ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ. ಪ್ರಥಮ ವಿಶ್ವ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಸಮ್ಮೇಳನ ಆಯೋಜನೆಯ ರೂವಾರಿ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ನಾಟಕ ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಟನೆ ಹಾಯ್ ಬಾಯ್ ದುಬೈ ಇವರು ನಟರು ಕೂಡ. ಹಲವಾರು ಕವಿಗೋಷ್ಠಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕವನ ಇವರು ವಾಚಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಶಶಿಧರ್ ನಾಗರಾಜಪ್ಪ ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪದವಿ ಪಡೆದು ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉನ್ನತ ಹುದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತನ್ನ ಬೇರುಗಳನ್ನು ಮರೆಯದೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಉಳಿವಿಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯಲು ಶ್ರಮಪಟ್ಟವರು. ವಿದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರನ್ನು ಒಗ್ಗೂಡಿಸಿ ನಾನಾ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸಿ ಭಾಷೆ ಉಳಿಸಿ ಎಂದು ಕರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಥಮ ಅನಿವಾಸಿ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಶ್ರೀ ಶಶಿಧರ್ ನಾಗರಾಜಪ್ಪ ಅವರು. ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯುಎಇಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರನ್ನು ಒಗ್ಗೂಡಿಸಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿ 5 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಸತತವಾಗಿ ಬಿಡುವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ದುಡಿಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತವಾಗಿ ಸಂಯುಕ್ತ ಅರಬ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆಸಿರುವ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ 50 ರಿಂದ 120 ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸುವ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಶಶಿಧರ್ ನಾಗರಾಜಪ್ಪ ಇದರ ಮುಖಂಡತ್ವವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಕಡಲಾಚೆಯಿಂದ ಕರುನಾಡಿಗೆ ಚತುರ ಶಾಲಾ ಯೋಜನೆ, ತಾಯ್ನಾಡಿನ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸ ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗುವಂತೆ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ನೀಡುವ ನೀಡಲು ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅದ್ಭುತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನಮ್ಮೊಡನೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಶಶಿಧರ್ ನಾಗರಾಜಪ್ಪ, ನಿಮಗೂ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾದ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇವೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಅಂತೆಯೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇವತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರ್ CA Valerian Dalmeda. Sir, on behalf of the whole management team of News Karnataka, I would like to welcome you to this event. Welcome, sir. And I also take this opportunity to welcome to all the viewers who are present here, all our stakeholders, and all our staff who are present here, and all supporters of News Karnataka and the whole Spearhead Media Group for supporting us throughout these past 10 years and also during this Decennial year. Continue to support and be with us, and we can do wonders together. Thank you, Brian sir. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Keynote. It was an elaborate welcome, and I think all of us are actually feeling quite welcome, including me, to this Decennial celebrations. I just want to mention one thing. I do recall I want to address Mr. Santosh Hegde. I do recall many years ago, I was working for ITI. I'm basically an HR guy, and I was working in the Industrial Relations Department in ITI. And there was a major case between the ITI management and the unions. And I had come to Delhi. I was there for 5 days. And you happened to be our lawyer, as the management lawyer in the case in the Supreme Court. And that was the first time I met you. It was a brief meeting for about 6 to 10 minutes. But I really enjoyed the meeting. I had so much to learn in that 5-10 minutes. And the second time I really met you was when you had come down for the inauguration in 2016. Always a pleasure to listen to you, to be with you. And today, it's also my pleasure to invite you to speak and say what you have to say on the social values and media. That's the topic of today. In fact, one of our staff, Reshma Babu, was supposed to have introduced you, but I think all the highlights have been given by my colleague Keynote. So we'll go straight into the speech, and we'd love to listen to you, Mr. Santosh Hegde, just waiting to hear from you. So over to you.
Thank you. All the listeners who are participating in this program, the office bearers of Spearhead Media, as well as News Karnataka, ladies and gentlemen present in this meeting. I am extremely happy to participate in this meeting because it is something very close to my heart. It is the subject which I have been asked to speak on. And as a matter of fact, that's the only subject I can speak on also. I have worked in many positions, but until I came to the institution of Karnataka Lokayukta, I very often felt I was a frog in the well. Kupamandu Kannada. I really did not know the sufferings of the people, the magnitude of suffering, and including the number of people who suffered. That too from an institution created under the Constitution of India called the government. This problem is not confined only to government. It's confined to every other institution, including the media. That's what I've been saying, and I will elaborate a little bit how it includes institutions other than the government also. I was wondering why this is happening in the society. Then I realized the fault doesn't lie with the individuals. Fault lies with the society. When I was young, if somebody went to jail in my locality, my parents used to tell me, don't go to that house. Meaning there was a social boycott of people who committed criminal activities or illegal activities. Things have changed so much. Today, the very same society doesn't condemn this type of activities. I've seen people who go to jail, take a bail and come out, are received at the airport or the bus stations or the railway stations with garlands, with people shouting slogans in favor of those people. And they are given powerful posts, and many of them are holding powerful posts who are still on bail. What sort of a society we are in? What sort of a message does this society send to the people? Ladies and gentlemen, unless we change this society, I don't think we can have peace and solidarity in the days to come. Let me briefly give how institution after institution has failed because of the attitude of the society. In 1947, in anticipation of getting independence to this country, our elders created a body called Constituent Assembly, which was the predecessor of the present-day Parliament and the state legislatures. That institution functioned from 47 to 49 and produced a wonderful document called the Constitution of India. And people never walked out from that session, the members of the Constituent Assembly. There was no fight inside the house. There were arguments. People expressed their views, and based on that, when the issue was being concluded, it was put to vote, and people voted on the merits of the arguments. What's happening to that institution? Recently, the Rajya Sabha was supposed to have functioned for 117 days in the last session, but it's recorded only 7 hours was used usefully. The rest of the time, there was uproar. People got into the table, started tearing up papers, walking out, slogans, shouting. This is not what was expected of elected representatives. Why? Why is it happening? It's because the society has forgotten the social values. And people know the society will not condemn that, so they do what they want. This is the first pillar of the Constitution. The second pillar of the Constitution, the executive. When the creation of executive was being discussed in the Constituent Assembly, they said they are the future administrators. Let us have highly educated people, well-trained people to administer. They should be paid substantially. And they created the executive. What's happened to that executive today? They created independent bodies to appoint this or select these executives called the Public Service Commission. One of the former Karnataka Public Service Commission chairman is prosecuted by the prosecuting agency for corruption. People pay money and come to the executive. And can they be expected to be honest? In every scam that has taken place in this country, there is the hand of an executive or more than one, without which there can be no scam, because ultimately the contracts and other things are signed by an executive and not by an elected representative. Take the third pillar of the Constitution, the judiciary. One case, if it has to be decided in the first court, it takes 20 to 25 years. A first appeal, a second appeal, a high court, a Supreme Court. It's said jocularly, if husband and wife were married at the age of 25 and 20 have some difference of opinion, one of them goes to court at that age, by the time the final judgment comes, the husband will be 85 years old and wife will be 80 years old. Is this the justice system that we can? There's no doubt there is corruption in judiciary also. But this fall in the moral value has not affected only these three pillars of the Constitution. Take the media. You must have heard the name Mitraru, the paid news concept. Many other medias which are owned today are owned for deliberate reasons. And paid news is a well-known methodology by which the media is made corrupt. So is other professions also, even in private professions. You pay money, you get your work done. All this put together sends a message to the youth of this country saying, you become rich, you become powerful, or get into a big post, you are respected. Because money begets power, power begets money. In the process, all values are lost. It is said 27% of the members of parliament are accused persons in one case or other. How far can we go like this? Let me give a brief example of the growth of greed in this country. In the decade of 50s, there was one scam called the Jeep scam. Country lost 52 lakhs. Let's skip and come to the decade of 80s. Bofors, country lost 64 lakhs in that. 2000, Commonwealth Games, country lost 70,000 crores. 2011, Colgate, country lost 1,76,000 crores. 2011 itself, 2G scam, country lost 1,86,000 crores. If this much of, I'm talking about 2011, I don't have the statistics of thereafter, they're saying. In 2011 itself, so much money is siphoned off from one scam. How can there be any development? In 1995, then the Prime Minister of India publicly said that out of 1 rupee the government gave for development, only 15 paise reached the target. 1985. We are in 2021. Greed has not come down, it's only increased. Today, out of 100 rupees, will 15 paise go to a project, ladies and gentlemen. Country has developed, not because of the contribution of the people in power, not because there is no greed. A percentage of development automatically takes place. If this country were the same moral values as was available in 1940s, I think this country would have been far, far more developed. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the way out? Please think about it. The only way out, according to me, is to inculcate certain values which our elders had created in the society so that society will have that boycott attitude, which is the only conviction, or I could use that word for that, and which the people are afraid of. Out of many values which our elders created, I would say at least inculcate 2 values. One is contentment, what we call in vernacular as tripti. The other is humanism. If you don't have contentment, you get a disease called greed, which has no limitation. However much you make is not sufficient. You want more. In the process, you're depriving another person of his legitimate dues. Corruption is not confined only to contracts. We find corruption in medical services. We can find corruption in educational services. We find corruption in practically everything. The second value which we don't have, which is diminishing in our society, is humanism. We think we are all born human beings. No, there is no species called human beings. We are born to a species called Homo sapiens, which has nothing to do with humanism. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have humanism, you don't deserve to be called as human being. If you have humanism in you, if you acquire humanism and show it when the circumstances demands it, then you become a human being. In Kannada, many poets have written, and some of them have said, "Yene agu, niga bekadavanagu, adre modalu manavanagu." Enta matsu. ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗ್ಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, 2-3 ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳನ್ನು, the experience that I have had during my tenure in the Karnataka Lokayukta, I will place it before you. In 2009, an old lady, about 80-85 years, came to my institution. I asked her, what's the problem? She said, sir, I have no income. One son of mine works in Mumbai. He sends me 250 rupees by money order. Postman wants 10% of that. If I don't give 10%, he makes an endorsement that address is not found on 3 visits, and the money is supposed to go back to the son, but God knows where it goes, but nobody traces it. Just imagine the plight of that lady. Now look at the contradiction in life. Postman did not come within my jurisdiction because he was a central government employee. So I contacted an officer who was concerned with that. That officer must have calculated 250 rupees, 10%, 25 rupees. He tells me, sir, 25 rupees case, sir. My officers are busy investigating scams, which runs into crores and crores and crores of rupees. I don't have time. Why don't you do it yourself? Look at that. Arrogance of office. 25 rupees case is too small a case for him to handle. But what is it for that lady? Well, I requested Lokayukta police to go and talk to the postman. The problem was solved. But look at the greed of this man. Postman doesn't get transferred like any other officer. He stays there for 10, 15 years in one locality. He knows the person. He knows the problem. But did he have that basic concern for somebody else? He was very well paid comparatively, a central government employee with all the allowances, pension after retirement. Was he satisfied with that? Another example of lack of or want of humanism. 2010, an Air Force officer calls me from Hyderabad. I said, what's your problem, sir? He said, 3 days back, my older brother's 18-year-old daughter is killed in a road accident in Bangalore. Her body is in a government hospital. We have sent an ambulance or kept an ambulance outside to bring the body to Hyderabad. Postmortem is not done. The police will not allow the body to be put in the ambulance. Please understand our sorrow. 3 days. We have lost a young member of the family. We haven't seen her face. We haven't completed our last rites. Please help us. I said, okay, give me a couple of hours. I went to the hospital and asked the doctor, I'm a superintendent, what's happening? He said, no, I've sent doctors to the postmortem ward. Let's call the doctor. And one of the doctor came. Look at his dialogue. He says, what's the hurry? Body is not decaying. It's in a freezer. Am I to treat the living patients first or examine the dead body first? What a dialogue. So superintendent said, why did you go and to treat a living patient? Your duty was to do the postmortem. No, sir, one relative of a patient came and told that his relative is not getting proper treatment. He requested me to go and give the treatment. So I said, doctor, did the patient or his relative was known to you earlier? No. Look at this. That government hospital has got 50 to 60 trained doctors other than the one who was treating his relative. He could have gone to any one of them. He did not go heavily. He went to the postmortem ward, which is about 100 meters away, to bring an unknown doctor. I said, I have realized now. We'll see what should be done about that, but I'll sit here until the postmortem is done. And the postmortem was done and sent. The body was sent. Ladies and gentlemen, did this doctor ever think about the sorrow of the family? If it is his own daughter, would he have done it? This is the society, ladies and gentlemen, we are in. If we don't change this society, if we don't change the people who respect this society, I don't think there's going to be peace. It's going to become more and more greedy. And there will be no solidarity in the society. I've been to more than 1,600 educational institutions, apart from what the functions like this, which are equal in number. Because I have hope in the youth of this country, like what you people are doing, interacting with people to bring about a change in the society. I tell the students, change this society, build a society which has values. And they can do it. People of my age have brought this society to this level. Well, I think I'm running out of time. So for my appeal to all the listeners is, inculcate these two values, contentment and humanism. Appreciate people who have these values and boycott people. You can't punish them. People are not afraid of punishment. There are countries where punishment for corruption is death sentence. Those countries are more corrupt than India, if you look into the Transparency International list of honest countries. So only way we can change is by becoming a more valuable society. Respect honesty, respect good work, and condemn people who are wrong. Thank you very much for listening to me. I am available for question and answer when the time comes. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hegde. And it was again a pleasure to listen to you. Contentment and humanism. I'll keep this in mind, and all of us will keep it in mind. And I'm not sure how much of it we can practice given the current rat race that we are in, and how much anyone can practice. We have to try, and we'll have some more questions for you once Mr. Shashidhar speaks. And we'll
I will answer what you said also, because I know about this and all. I'll be saying that as when my turn comes.
Yes, sir. Now, can I think Mr. Shashidhar has already been introduced by my colleague, Mr. Keynote. So I would like Mr. Shashidhar, the Chief Coordinator of the Kannada Paatashaale in Dubai, to address all of us. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So we have viewers there too. And of course, all the participants here. Sir, please take the stage. Thank you. Mr. Shashidhar.
Thank you, Mr. Brian, the Director Brian, and Mr. Valerian Dalmaida, and the chief guest of today, Dr. Santosh Hegde.
No, Doctor.
Babu. Oh, sorry. I would be more comfortable speaking in Kannada, so please excuse me and allow me.
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Please.
Santosh Hegde ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಬ್ರಯನ್ ಫರ್ನಾಂಡಿಸ್ ರವರಿಗೆ, ವಲೇರಿಯನ್ ಡಾಲ್ಮೈಡ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿ ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಮೂಲಕ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. ನನಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಆರಂಭ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಶ್ಲಾಘನೆ ಬಹು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ನನ್ಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಡೆಸೆನಿಯಲ್ ನ ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರುವಂತ ರೂವಾರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಮತ್ತು ಧ್ಯೇಯವನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಏನು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಮೀಡಿಯಾನ ಅವರೇ ವಿಮರ್ಶೆಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಮರ್ಶೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆತ್ಮಾವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಹಸ ಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ತನ್ನನ್ನ ತಾನು ಅವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಮ್ಮಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವರ ಜೀವನದ ಅನುಭವಗಳಿಂದ ಕಹಿಗಳಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಕು ಚೆಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಿರಿಯರು ಮುತ್ಸದ್ದಿಗಳು ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಉಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಈ ವಿಷಯದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಭಾಗವನ್ನ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು UAE ಬಂದು ಈಗ 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳಾಯ್ತು. ನನ್ನ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಾನು, ಜೆನಿತ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾಮನ್ನೆಸ್ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ MBA ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜೆನಿತ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ 2ನೇ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಬೇರುಗಳನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೇರುಗಳನ್ನ ಕಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಕನ್ನಡದ ತವಕ, ನನ್ನ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಕನ್ನಡದ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹುಡ್ಕೋಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ನನ್ನ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ನನ್ನ ಆಚಾರ ವಿಚಾರ ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಒಂದು ತವಕ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಎತ್ತಿಡಿಯುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಭಾವನೆ ನನಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ನನಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸೋರು ಯಾರು? ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಕಲಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತಾನಾಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ವರ್ಗಾವಣೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಭಾಷೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕಲಿತಾರೋ ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಸೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ 2014ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸಿದ್ಲಿಂಗೇಶ್, ನಾಗರಾಜ್, ಗವಾಸ್ಕರ್, ಸಿದ್ದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ 60 ಜನ ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನ ಆರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತೂರು ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳಾದಂತ ಶಿವಮೂರ್ತಿ ದೇಶಿಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಗಳು ಅವರ ಶಾಲೆ, ದುಬೈನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಶಾಲೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಭಿನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ಸಿಇಒ ಅಂತ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರು ಈ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಕಲ್ಪಿಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಶುರುವಾದ ಶಾಲೆ 40 ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಅದು ಬೆಳಿತಾನೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. 14, 15, 16 ಹೀಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾಂಡಮಿಕ್ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನ 350 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ದುಬೈಲಿ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಈ ವರ್ಷ 8ನೇ ವರ್ಷದ ಆರಂಭೋತ್ಸವ 12ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗಿದೆ. ಆ ದಿನದಂದು ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, 8ನೇ ವರ್ಷ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 450 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇವಾಗಲೇ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಮಾತಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನೇನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕವಿಗಳಾಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಹಳ ಸೊಗಸಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಮಾತಿ ನಿಮ್ ನಗೆ ನುಡಿಯು, ಮಾತಿ ನಿಮ್ ಹಗೆ ಕೊಲೆಯು, ಮಾತಿ ನಿಮ್ ಸರ್ವ ಸಂಪದವು ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಜಗತ್ತನ್ನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಎದುರಾಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತೃ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸೋದಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಹಲವಾರು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಬಾಹ್ಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯ, ಒಂದು ಆಂತರಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಪಮೌಲ್ಯ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬಾಹ್ಯವಾದ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ಒಬ್ನ ಯಾರನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಇದೆ, ಅವನಿಗೊಂದು ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಆಂತರಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ದಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಸತ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ಡಿಪೆಂಡಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಇಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಪಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಕೆಲವು ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅವು ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಮಾದಕ ದ್ರವ್ಯ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಅಪಮೌಲ್ಯ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಮಾಜದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಪಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೆಲವು ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಅನುಮಾನ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಒಂದು ಮಾದಕ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಅವ್ರು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಲೈಂಗಿಕ ಕಿರುಕುಳದ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಇದನ್ನೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? ಇದನ್ನ ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಸೇಕ್ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಒಂದು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಲಂನಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಥದ್ದು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಸಂದೇಶ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆಯೋ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಜೈಲಾದವನಿಗೆ ಬೇಲ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಲೈವ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ತೋರ್ಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಮನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಅಷ್ಟ್ ಜನ ನನ್ನ ಹಿಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ನ 100ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಯುವಕನಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಮಾನವೀಯತೆಯನ್ನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂತಾನೆ, ಮೋಸ, ದ್ವೇಷ, ದ್ರೋಹದ ಹಾದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಾನೆ. ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಆಗಬಾರದು. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯನ್ನ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಹವಾಲು ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳಿಗೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸ್ಬೋದು? ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಬೇಕಾದದ್ದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು, ಆಚಾರ, ವಿಚಾರ, ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಅದು ಸಾಯೋವರೆಗೂ ಮರೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯನ್ನ ನನ್ನ ಭರಮಸಾಗರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಯ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಂಗಪ್ಪ ಮೇಷ್ಟ್ರು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ನನಗೆ ಇವತ್ತುವರೆಗೂ ಮರೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲ್ತ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಒಳಗಿನ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಆಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿತ್ತುತ್ತೀವಿ ಅದು ಬೆಳಿತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಹೆಮ್ಮರವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವತ್ತು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ದೆ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಈ ಮೂಲಕ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಶಾಲೆಯ ಮುಖ್ಯೋಪಾಧ್ಯಾಯರಾಗಿದ್ರು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ BO ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೋದು. ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇವರು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಿಂಡಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅವರು ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಜೀಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ತಿಂಡಿ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹಣ್ಣಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂಥರ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಅದು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನಮ್ ತಂದೆ ಹಿಂದಿನ ದಿನ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹಣ್ಣುಗಳು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರು. ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ತಗೊಂಬಂದ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಸೇಬು 5 ಸೇಬು ತಂದಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ರಾತ್ರಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೇಬನ್ನ ಕಚ್ಚಿದ್ದಿದೆ, ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕಚ್ಚಿ ಅದು ಎಂಜಲಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕಿ ತಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಪಾಪ, ಅವ್ರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮೇಷ್ಟ್ರುಗಳು ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕಿ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅಂತದ್ದು. 5 ಜನ ಬಂದ್ರೆ 5 ಸೇಬು ಒಂದು ಲೆಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ತಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಂತ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಕೊಟ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನವರೆಗೂ ಮರೆಯಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಆ ಹಣ್ಣನ್ನ ನೆಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ರು, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಏನ್ ಬೈಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು, ನನ್ನ ಅಣ್ಣ ಶ್ರೀಧರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ಶೈಲಜಾ ಅಂತ ಮೂವರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಯಾರು ತಿಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ? ಯಾರು ಒಪ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತಿನ್ನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ, ನೆಲದ ಮೇಲಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಪಶುವಿನ ತರ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ನಾಯಿಯ ತರ ತಿನ್ಸಿದ್ರು. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ತಿಂದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಡ್ದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಳವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನೊಳಗೆ ಇಳಿತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತಿಂಡಿ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಏನು ತಂದಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಯಾವ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ, ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಖಚಿತಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ನಾನು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಮುಟ್ಟೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಗಾಧವಾದ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದು ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವತ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಅನ್ಸಿತ್ತು, ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆಗಿದ್ದಂತ ಒಂದು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪರಿಸರ ಬೇರೆನೇ ಇದೆ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತ ಪರಿಸರಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನ, ಅವ್ರ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಸಮಾಜ ಸಾನಾಗಿ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಬದಲಾಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೂಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ ಮೂಡೋದಿಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪಶುಗಳಂತೆ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಮಾಜ ಹೀಗೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ, ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಾರಣರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದು ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಹವಾಲು ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ. ಇನ್ನು NRIಗಳ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ NRIಗಳಿಗೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳುಗಳಿಗೆ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ತನಕ ಅವರು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಆಚಾರ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಬ್ಬಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಆಟಿಕೆಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಥದ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ನಮ್ಮ ಅನಿವಾಸಿ ಭಾರತೀಯರು ಏನಿಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೇರಿಗೆ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓದುವಂತವ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರ ಒಲವಿರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ವಾಪಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ UK USA ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಕಳಚಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ದೂರವಾಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಆ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಯೋಚನೆಗಳು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಓದಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಹೈಯರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದವರು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದವರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಹಿಂದಿರುಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಉನ್ನತಿಯತ್ತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಸಂತತಿಯು ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಶ್ರಮದಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗಿರುವಂತ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ನಮ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಒಂದು ಬೂನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಬೂನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್. ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಹವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ NRI ಫೋರಂನ ಡೆಪ್ಯೂಟಿ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. 2-3 ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತದನ್ನ ಮೊದಲು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿದದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಈ UAE ನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಜೊತೆ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಅದೃಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಎತ್ತಿಡಿಯುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನೇ ಆರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಇವಾಗ ಸೆನ್ಸೇಷನಲಿಸಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರವರ್ಸಿಸ್ಗಳು ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆನ್ನೆಲುಬಾಗಿರುವಂತ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅದೆಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೊರತಾಗಿ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಛಾಪು ಮೂಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ UAE ನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬಿಸುವುದರ ಮೂಲಕ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನ ನನಗೆ ನೀಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ನನಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಂತ 4 ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಬೇಸರ ಇದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವ, ನನಗಾಗಿರುವ 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಆದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಖಂಡಿತ ಉತ್ತರಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿದ್ಧನಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಇವರೇ, ಶಶಿಧರ್ ಅವರೇ. ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದುಬೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನಿಸಮ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. And of course there are questions, but I want my colleague Keynote to handle the question and answer session. Keynote, if you are available, please.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Santosh Hegde sir and Shashidhar sir, for that wonderful insight about the subject. Now the forum is open for questions. So I request, I think Rajesh from Dubai has already started putting questions in the group. Rajesh, the forum is open. You can directly ask the questions also.
Ask the question in the chat. If you could answer that, it could be nice.
You just read it out, sir, please. Can you please read it out?
The first question is, we like leaders like Mr. Hegde to lead the place. What is the possibility of Mr. Santosh Hegde joining the politics? And the second question is, do you feel that a politician should have a minimum qualification?
I'll first answer the second question.
Okay.
In the Constituent Assembly debates, when they were creating the legislature, the first pillar of the Constitution called the legislature, this issue came up for consideration. Many elders said they are the future lawmakers, so they must have the knowledge of what they are trying to bring about. So for that, they said there is the need for educational qualification. And it is said that most of the people present in that Constituent Assembly were willing to say, yes, education should be there for people to contest in elections so that they'll be part of the legislature, everything. But just before going for voting, one member supposed to have stood up and said, these are all recorded matters, I'm not creating story, supposed to have stood up and said, President, sir, that's the speaker, then the Constituent Assembly is called President. Recently, we adopted democracy as the political system of this country. You said democracy means government of the people, by the people, for the people. Today, sir, that's about 1947. The population of this country is about 40 crores. And 80% of the 40 crores are totally illiterates. Sir, are you reserving this legislature or the body for 20% literates? He asked a question. It is said the house became stunned. Nobody could answer that person. Then Baba Sahib Ambedkar is supposed to have stood up and said, the honorable member is right. We cannot reserve this legislature for 20% of the literates. Therefore, we will not have any educational qualification because the history says our people, even without a formal education, have managed their affairs very well in this country. So let's depend upon them. And we will have a supporting organization called the executive who will cooperate with the legislature to help them to get over the problems and everything. So the proposal was dropped. Even today, there is no such requirement in law of requiring educational qualification for any of the elections, be it the panchayat election or even the parliamentary election. Today, though, I think nearly 90% of the people are educated people, to some extent at least and all. But they are not the same as those who were not supposed to be educated at that point of time, the formal education. Therefore, our elders really thought it was not necessary because democracy required participation of everybody else. And they also recognized formal education is not the only method by which you can get educated. Education can come from various sources also. And they didn't impose that educational qualification. A wonderful thinking. And I think it did contribute a lot to bring people from different walks of life into the system. But today, ladies and gentlemen, education has not really helped people to become honest or valuable at all in all. As you have seen in what is happening in all. And as Mr. Shashidhar said, the lack comes not only from the educational system that we have, but also from our house. When I was young, my parents used to tell me the do's and don'ts of life. And if I made a mistake, I was corporally punished, as he himself said that and all. Today, I think the parents are so busy, both of them are my working parents, they bring their problem from the office to the house. They don't have time to interact with the children and tell them, especially the values, or at least they feel ashamed to tell them how to behave with the opposite sex. These things are never told. When I was young, when I went to school, I had a subject called moral science.
Yeah.
And the Catholic students have catechism. I don't think either of the subject is there today in the schools. So where do the children learn from? From their classmates? From what they read in the media? Therefore, in my opinion, education is not a necessity in every walk of life. At least formal education is not a thing, And more important is value-based thinking and development. As Mr. Shashidhar said, when you're young, if you inculcate these values, it goes there. That is why I'm going to schools and colleges more than to programs other than this, because I know everybody who listens to me in a program like this, they know what's happening in them. Whereas the youth, if I could tell, I know change is not going to come in my lifetime. Change will take a long time to come. It took a long time for you to, for this present situation to come, and it will take a long time for it to change. But it is our duty. It's our duty to see that we do contribute towards the change. You can't say, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಲ್ರಿ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಆ ಭಾವನೆ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. Everybody must contribute. Everybody who thinks that value is a necessary thing in the society, they must contribute. ಹನಿ ಕೂಡಿ ಹಳ್ಳ ಅಂತೇವೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗೋದು, ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ. I'm an optimist, hoping that I'm doing it. Even though I'm 81 years old, I still participate and keep telling the same thing to the youth.
I hope, Rajesh, your questions are answered. Yeah, any other questions?
Anybody else has a question?
Yeah,
I have a question.
I asked another question about being a politician, sir.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No, I am not going to get into politics. There are enough people there. Many of them can do this thing. There should be somebody outside the political system to condemn what's happening inside the political system. Because once you are there, you don't want to condemn what's happening there and all. So who will then point out the mistake? So somebody should be there to point out the mistakes that is happening and all. That's what I'm doing. I have no interest in politics. God has given me enough opportunity to serve the society, which I've served. And I'm happy about that.
Right. Ravi Shetty from Qatar is with us, Mr. Santosh Hegde. Ravi Shetty, you have any question for Santosh Hegde or Shashidhar? Okay. I don't think he...
Sorry, thank you very much. You are able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Nice. It's a wonderful program. Great to see great man, our beloved Justice Santosh Hegde. It was wonderful to listen to him. and of course, Mr. Shashidhar also. And I really do not have any question to ask because it was very clear. And congratulations. It was a wonderful session. So initial part I missed, but I compensated.
I have a question both for Shashidhar as well as for Mr. Hegde. Can I go ahead? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. For Mr. Shashidhar, ನಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ನಾವು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ಸ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್, ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಅಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಹೋದಾಗ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ US, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿಂಗಪೂರ್, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದುಬೈ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಬು ಧಾಬಿ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾ, ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಬ್ರಾಡ್ than we are in our home country. ಅದು ನಂದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಸಹ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್. ಅದು ನೀವು ಸತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಅದು ಒಂದು. ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆಗೆ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಆರ್ ಶಲ್ ಐ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಇಟ್ ನೌ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ ಶಲ್ ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್? ಓಕೆ, ಯಾ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಶಶಿಧರ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಅಕ್ಷರ ಸಹ ಸತ್ಯ. ಅದು ನಾವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಟಾಗ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವರೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ದುಬೈಗೆ ಸೇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿಯುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಬೇರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ನಡವಳಿಕೆ ಬೇರೆ. ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಹಳ ಹಳಬರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅಕಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆದವರಿಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 70% ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ದುಬೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಂದು ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ತಿಂದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಹುಡುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಡಬ್ಬಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಇಂದ ತಂದಿರೋ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಂದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮುಡಿಚಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಸಾಕೋದನ್ನ ಅದೇ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ? ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜ ಇದನ್ನ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಂತನ, ಅಥವಾ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತನ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಆತ್ಮಾವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅದು ನಿಜ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಜ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ ಸಮಾಜ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ನೀನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ 3 ಸತಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗಲ್ಲ. ದುಬೈನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಲಿಟರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 200 ದಿರಂ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ 4,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೀದಾ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಕಾನೂನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೈಪಾಸ್ಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಹಣ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಯಾರ್ದೋ ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತ ಒಂದ್ ಏನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ತೋರ್ಸೋದಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟು, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುವಂತ ಅಗತ್ಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿರೋಂತ ಸತ್ಯ ಅದು.
Thank you. My second question is to Mr. Hegde, and it's a continuation of the first one, sir. As I mentioned in the beginning, after you finished your speech, many of these issues that I just observed I told Mr. Shashidhar are because we are all in the rat race. Everybody wants to get ahead. Some or other, we want to find the best way, the fastest way to get ahead. And the problem in India is that we have a huge population, unlike other countries where the population is less, the resources perhaps are a little more. So you get a larger share of it. But in India, we have a large population and less resources. So everybody has to grab the survival of the fittest. And in that survival of the fittest race, sometimes we forget these values that we may have learned, or we need to forget those values because otherwise you can't get ahead. On this, I would like your observation, Mr. Hegde.
It's not forgetfulness. It is deliberately, knowingly done. They know what they're doing is wrong, but in their greed of acquiring more money or wealth or power, you will violate all possible things and grab it from the pocket of somebody or even from the plate of somebody. This is the lack of value. if you are told in the young age itself, don't go and get something from somebody which you don't legitimately require, have a right to have, then you learn that. When I was young, I didn't have the luxury of a cycle and other things and all, because I knew my parents told me they can't afford it and all. But they gave me everything that I could afford, which was education, which was food, the thing, Whereas today it's not like that. You are recognized only if you are holding a big post or you are a rich person. So everybody wants that. That is, you want power or money. How do you get it? By cheating. Knowing very well it is wrong. It is not a lack of knowledge. No, it is deliberate. Therefore, that is where the social thinking used to restrict the people from going that side, because olden days, if you made a mistake, you were boycotted. That money and wealth and power was no use. People never recognized you. Okay, a man who went to jail is not saluted. On the contrary, the man, if he is walking in this side of the road, people will walk on the other side of the road because they don't want you to. That is the attitude that we should have. That is how, when Mr. Shashidhar gave you an example of somebody protesting against you throwing a chocolate wrapper out, if you were to say, look, what you're doing is wrong. No, on the contrary, you will salute him. Oh, yes, sir, very, very good and all that. That is the attitude we have. So we have to respect value and inculcate value ourselves. That is the only way. No law can change, sir. I can tell you, people are not afraid of law. People are not afraid of jail today. You would have read in the papers, people like Jayalalitha had air-conditioned room, televisions, and everybody and everything, even though they were in jail. But still, people would avoid going to jail if they can afford it. If they must, they'll go there and get all the things. So they're not afraid of this. So unless moral values are inculcated, unless the society shows its repulsion against this type of wealth or this thing, I don't think we can change it. That is how this has grown up. Everybody, you are right, everybody wants to become rich, everybody wants to become powerful. Yes, but not legitimately. If you do it legitimately, go and pat his back and say, well done, son. But if you do something wrong, like Mr. Shashidhar was punished, if you punish your children, they will know what my dad did it for my own good. ನನ್ನ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಡ. ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಇದ್ದದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಸಂತಸ ಪಡುವುದು ತೃಪ್ತಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಸಂತಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರೋ ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ತಪ್ಪು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಎಂದೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಇಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲಂಚ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಲಂಚ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದೀತು ಅನ್ನುವ ಭಾವನೆಗಳು ಬರಕ್ ಶುರು ಆದ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡೋ ಮೊದಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಾನು ಅದ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಮನೋಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Keynote?
Vanaram, sir, do you want to ask any question?
Well, a lot of questions have been asked. I think if we can ask whether Wadekar, Amjad Pasha, a lot of people are there, Raju Gowda or Siddhalingesh, if they have questions, they can ask. They're all from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, NRIs. Anybody?
Okay, ನಂದೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ AIR 1996 Supreme Court, page 770. The name of the party is Balaji Raghavan versus Union of India. In that judgment, the Supreme Court has specifically said that no government can give a title because it is opposed to Article 18 of the Indian Constitution, and old titles given are abolished. So these things are not titles except what you acquire by education and military titles, nothing else. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ರಿಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ತೇನೆ, ಹೊರತು ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್, ಅದು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಹಾಕಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
So if you don't mind, can you just repeat that, this one? AIR.
Yeah, it is AIR. That means All India Reporter, AIR 1996, that is the year.
Yeah.
Supreme Court, SC and SC means Supreme Court. Page 770. If you forget it, you can go to nominal index, name index and all. It is Balaji Raghavan versus Union of India. A very important thing, people should know about that.
Yes, sir. Anybody else want to ask any question? Anybody from the staff desk, News Karnataka desk?
Sir, namaskara.
Namaskara.
ನಾನು ಸಿದ್ಲಿಂಗೇಶ್ ಅಂತ ದುಬೈಯಿಂದ. ನನ್ಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಗಿಡಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು.
ನಾನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ.
ಸರ್, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದೇನಿದೆ ಈಗ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಹಳೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೊಸ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸುವಂತದನ್ನ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ?
ಖಂಡಿತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎರಡನೇದ್ದು. ಮೊದಲನೇದ್ದು, ಪೋಷಕರು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ತಾವೇ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ತಾವು ಕಳ್ಳರಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕನಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ತಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಆ ಮೌಲ್ಯವನ್ನ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಅಜ್ಜಂದಿರಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಪ್ರತಿ ಧರ್ಮದ ಪುರಾಣಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲ್ಲ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೋಷಕರು ಕೂಡ ಮೌಲ್ಯದ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಹಳ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅವಾಗ್ಲಿದ್ರು, ಮೋಸ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ, ದುರಾಸೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಕರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಎಂತ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ನೀವು ಅಂತ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರವನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಮೂಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ದುರಾಸೆಯನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಮೂಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಣ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಡವರಿಗೆ ಸೇರ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಹಣ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನಿದ್ದಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನೀತಿ ಪಾಠ ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಬೈ ಎನಿ ನೇಮ್. ಇವತ್ತು ನೀತಿ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಧರ್ಮದ ಏನೋ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮದ ಹೆಸರು ಕೂಡ ಬೇಡ. ಬರೀ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುದು. ಅದು ಆ ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲೂ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪಾಠ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್, ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಈ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸಕ್ಕೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬೇಡ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋಣ. ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಬಟ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಈ ಎರಡೂ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ, ಪೋಷಕರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಾಲಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ಅದು ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಓದಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸೀಸನ್ ಇದೆ. 10, 20, 30 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಶಾಂತಿಯುತವಾಗಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಭ ಇದೆ. ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಕಾರನ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಮಾಡುವುದಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ. ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಯಾವ ಇಸಮೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೀವು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಇಸಮೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Therefore, let us bring about a change, domestic change as well as educational change. Yes, as you suggested, yes, it must be there. And then I think we'll be expediting the change which is necessary in the society.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So my question is to Mr. Santosh Hegde, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, humanism generally means that it gives stress to the importance of human factors, rather than looking at various factors like religious or divinity or any spiritual matters. But when you say humanism, is that all that it is, or there is more to the humanism that you have, that you have mentioned?
Well, certainly humanism consists of many aspects of life and all, which includes one's own life when he suffers various illness and other things, and all his attitude changes, and he's not able to comprehend it the same way as a priest does, or a sannyasi does, or anybody does, and all. That's another aspect of humanism. What I'm speaking of humanism is your relationship vis-a-vis, or in respect of the others. Your consideration for others, not only for yourself and all. Now, I'll give you one example of which I saw during my tenure as Lokayukta. An youngster called Harish Nanjappa meets with a road accident. A punctured wheel of a lorry goes over his stomach and body is severed into two different parts, but he's still alive. He asked for a glass of water from people who were watching him and all. They were photographing, videographing and everything, but nobody gave any water. When the ambulance came, he put the ambulance staff put the body pieces into the ambulance. He was still alive. He told the staff, tell the doctor to donate my eyes. Now, you see two aspects of humanism, one lack of humanism, one existence of humanism. I'm talking about that. Even in your worst of times, you think about somebody else's problems in life and all. See, just think of this. One film actor recently died. He donated his two eyes. And the latest technique was used by the doctors and severed that cornea into 4 pieces and gave 4 sight to 4 blind people. Now, imagine he had the humanism to tell the doctors to donate his eyes, and all, at least he wrote it down and donated it. Now, 4 people could see the world. Similarly, smaller things. Yeah, some old man falls down in the airport or bus stand or anybody. Just give him a lifting hand. In that, if you have a lot of money, you can contribute towards the welfare of somebody who doesn't have, who has been denied of his fairness in life. So, in my opinion, if you have that aspect of humanism, not only your sickness, not only your failures in life, not only your sufferings and all, but somebody else's suffering, that's the humanism I talk about. Another aspect of this is a human character, which again, instead of looking at it, life with everybody suffers, I am also suffering, that's also a type of humanism. But that doesn't help the third person. So my humanism, I'm talking about third person. Even when you take something which doesn't belong to you, that is inhuman. Consume, earn what legitimately is yours. That is the greatest humanism. You will leave it to somebody. So maybe somebody else will grab it and go. That's a different thing. But so far as you are concerned, you have exhibited your humanism.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I think you answered most of the questions. Yeah.
Sir, Nandan,
who is that?
Santosh Hegde sarige.
Raksha, go ahead.
ಸರ್ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀನ್ ಈ ಸರ್ತಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನಿಂಗೆ ಇದು ವಾಚ್ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಸೈಕಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅದು ಮೂಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದನಾ ಸರ್? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒಂದು ಅದರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಮುಖಾನ ಸರ್? ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಮ್ಮ ದುರಾಸೆಗೆ, ಅದು ಮೊದಲನೇ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹುದ್ದೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಪಡಿಬೇಕ. ಪಡೆದ ನಂತರ ನೀವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋ ಮೊದ್ಲೇ ನೀನು ಅದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಿದೆಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಅಮಿಷ ತೋರಿಸು, ಅದಿರ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಾನು ಗೆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಗೆಲ್ಬೇಕು, ಮೊದಲನೇ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ರ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಮೊದ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಗೆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಸೈಕಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಸ್ಕೂಟರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಗೆದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವನಿಗೂ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ನನ್ನ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ.
Thank you. And I think with this we'll wind up the Q&A session. Over to Brian sir, the finale.
Yeah, thank you. I think there are a lot more questions everybody has got, but we are running out of time.
I think Amjad is having a question. Give him a minute.
Last question. Yeah. Okay, one last question, please.
ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಹೆಗಡೆ ನಂದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀತಿ ಪಾಠದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಧರ್ಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಧರ್ಮದ ಲೇಪನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸರ್? ಯಾವ ತರ ಸರ್? ಯಾವ್ದು ಕಡಿವಾಣ ಯಾವ ತರ ಅಂತ?
ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದೊಂದು ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸೆಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳು ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತಿಂದವ್ರದ್ದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ. ಹಿಂದಿನವರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೈನಾರಿಟಿಯನ್ನ ಪೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಹಿಂದಿನವರು. ಇವತ್ತಿನವರು ಮೈನಾರಿಟಿಯನ್ನ ದೂರ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆದ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಕಾರಣಗಳು. ಎರಡೂ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಜಾತೀಯತೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮದ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ನೈತಿಕ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಡಳಿತೆಯನ್ನ ತರಬೇಕು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮದ ವಿಚಾರನೂ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಧರ್ಮದ ವಿಚಾರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಧರ್ಮ ಈ ಧರ್ಮ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ಲಿ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್. It should not be religious thing at all. And we have already declared it as a secular country. We got to follow it in the true spirit. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತೇನ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ತಯಾರಿದ್ದೇವಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ವಿಚಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಧರ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿರು, ಆಡಳಿತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ವಿಚಾರ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟದ್ದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ತರುವ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಮತ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ವೋಟ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಒಂದು ಈ ಧರ್ಮದವ್ರು ವೋಟ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಮಾಡದಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಧರ್ಮದವ್ರು ವೋಟ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ದೂರ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು ಆಡಳಿತೆಯಿಂದ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ? ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡೋರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ವಿರೋಧಿಸುವವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಧರ್ಮದ ಇದಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಅವರ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಲಾಭಕ್ಕೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಮತ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಗೆಲ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಅಧಿಕಾರ ನಾವೇ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಲಾಭ, ಇದರಿಂದ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಭವನ್ನು ಯಾರು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೇನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. I've seen it from very close quarters. I'm not telling you off the cuff some remarks, which is not an experience which I have not seen. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಂತ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೊರತು ಯಾವುದೇ ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್. ಅದೇ ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಇದು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ್ದು ಇದು
ಜನರು ಮತ ಹಾಕುವವರು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡುವವರು, ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮದ ಸಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಯಾವ ಧರ್ಮದ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡುವವರು ಇದ್ರು ಇಬ್ಬರನ್ನು ದೂರ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. And all the participants who have asked questions, I hope you have got your answers. I'm pretty sure you have. I thank the guests for giving those answers patiently, listening to all of us. It's an eye-opener, basically. But I would like to request our mentor and advisor and prime mover, let us say, CA Valerian Dalmaida. He has been with the company. He has started the process of corporatizing the company in 2013-14 and is now still the prime mover, the mentor, the advisor, and passionate about the media to address all of us. And of course, in the process, also thank our guests, CA Valerian Dalmaida.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Santosh sir and Shashidhar sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation for this program, Social Values and Media. As Shashidhar Nagarajappa said, we took a bold step to see where our own media is there in the eyes of critics and the valuations. Today, as Santosh Hegde said and Shashidhar Nagarajappa said, the value system comes from home, from our parents. Today, if I am something, that is because of my father, my mother. They taught us values. I still remember I lost my mother in 2019 at the age of 90, but I always quote her. She always told us, if you can't do anything good, but don't do anything wrong to others, just keep quiet. So these are the values that has been taught to us. We were asked to play with all the surrounding boys or girls which were there from all communities, and we didn't make any mistake of compartmenting them, but we had play, we had food with all people. Now these are the values that has been taught, and I have brought those values wherever I have gone. And that is why I am passionate about the media. I still recall when we had fourth anniversary, when Santosh Hegde was being invited, and he readily accepted, and he participated as chief guest on May 30, 2016. And with him, we also invited Harekala Hajappa. Yesterday, he received Padma Shri. What we wanted to show that to the people, these are the people, Santosh Hegde or Harekala Hajappa, or in that chief guest list, there was Isha Vitaldas Swamiji of Sri Kshetra Kimar, and Sadaqatullah Faizi Khatib from Juma Baksh Kendra of Juma Masjid, Mangalore. They, on that day, they spoke of the values because they also got the values from their parents. Today, Santosh Hegde is here with us, and he always said that. And this is what we are trying to do in Spearhead Media. That's all we are practicing. Now we are in the 10th year, and whatever is dear to the society, the recognition that is required for the voiceless, this is what we are saying. I want to highlight to all the viewers who are watching offline right now, or sorry, online. I want to say one thing. We have started this media for the truth endure masthead, and we will still continue to do that. And in the next 10 years, we look for people to join us who think alike, that we need a media not for TRP rating, but to get the rating for the voiceless people, give them their right. And in this direction, we have started several shows. I should highlight one particular show of subalterns. Mr. Santosh Hegde, I'm sure you recall, in Bannerghatta, there is a weavers colony. There are 3,000 weavers who are so poor, in spite of weaving a sari per day. They, from the last 20, 30 years, they cannot think of a house. They can't think of a good life to lead. They have children who want to give them education. Today, Bannerghatta Loyal College is giving them, scholarships and all those things, and they are trying to give them the education. But at what cost? I must tell to all the viewers and to you, it is not new to you, Mr. Santosh Hegde. I want to give those numbers. The middlemen give 900 rupees to a weaver, and at the end of the day, he or she makes a sari, and the middleman buys it, gives another 350 rupees, because he gave 900 loan for all the thread, everything, and he buys at 1,250 or 1,300 and gives 350 to this poor lady or man. What he does, he goes and sells this sari to the shop at a profit of 850 rupees. And the shopkeeper sells for another 1,000. I just calculated this. The whole thing, per day, they give, the middleman gives a loan of 27 lakhs, invest 27 lakhs. Where is this money coming from? And then on this 27 lakhs, this is a whole mafia which is making a money in a month around 6.2 crores. And the weavers is left at the lurch. And this is the apathy of not only the weavers, but also of the people, whether it is auto rickshaw drivers or roadside vendors or auto rickshaw pullers or the labor, agriculture labor. Everybody is looting them. And this is where we came in, and we brought these people to our platform. We talked to them, and we wanted to know, and people to know, or the political people know, or whether it is Javali Ilake, or whether it is traffic department, whatever it is. We wanted these people to talk from their mouth on a platform, and we gave them the platform, and we are continuing to do so. This is one of the programs that we have embarked on, and we have finished almost 10 episodes now, and we are continuing every week. We also want to highlight Namaste Teacher, where the values are dwindling. We brought this Namaste Teacher program just to tell the people how important are the teachers at the lower level, from first standard to 10th, how they form the children and what is the value system they give. And we brought the teachers from the villages, retired teachers, and the students together, their students. And it's really giving us the insight what beautifully the relation. They are telling their memories, the time they spent in the classes, and it's become emotional. The whole idea is to show that even today, the teachers are important, relations are necessary. It is cutting across the religion. It is cutting across the caste. It is cutting across. This is what we want to bring in. There are several programs like this we are doing. And I must quote that when the 4th anniversary was done, the director, one of the directors who was interviewed, he said, as we celebrate our growth, we will fail in our duty if we do not thank all the hands that toiled for this undertaking from its embryonic stage to this stage. We cannot thank them in person, but these words of gratitude go to each and every person, including our advertisers, investors, and sponsors, and all those who have been associated with Period Media Private Limited. I'm reading the director's message that was given that time at the 4th year when Santosh Hegde was the chief guest of the occasion. Thank you very much, all the viewers, and Mr. Santosh Hegde and Mr. Shashidhar Nagarajappa. I would like to invite everyone, because we are not media that running through the TRP or what you said, highlighting the same thing which is happening, day and night on whether it is drug peddling or drug mafia or drug takers, and also some other things which are unnecessarily being hyped. We are totally a different media. So we ask our viewers, in each of our news, at the right hand bottom corner, there is something called subscribe. This is the way that you can support us so that we can continue our mission. I say continue our mission as a corporate to give the true news, the authentic news, and a news which is being checked from both sides, not only one side, not a news that we can have a gossip news or sensational news? No. So we want to create a different arena in the media industry as such. And I think that's the reason why Public Relations Council of India has recognized us in our decennial year and given us the most prestigious Chanakya Award as the Media House of the Year 2021. With this note, I thank Mr. Santosh Hegde and Mr. Shashidhar Nagarajappa again, and all the viewers who are watching this and people who have participated. And we will have such kind of discourse in every month to come. Thank you, Brian and Keynote, and all of our Spearhead Media colleagues.
So the last duty I have is to thank each one of you, which your CA Valerian Dalmaida has already done. But I would like to say a big thank you to CA Valerian Dalmaida, to Keynote, my colleague, to the chief guests of this evening, Mr. Shashidhar Nagarajappa and Santosh Hegde, and of course all the team members who are here throughout. You'll see their report tomorrow in the News Karnataka. They have been listening very carefully to what you all have said and the questions asked and the answers given. This is for wide dissemination for amongst our readers and our viewers, because it's a very important subject. If you don't spread the right values, then we are going to land up in a mess. I think with that, we need to wind up. Thank you very much for being present. I appreciate that both of you took time. I think we said 7 to 8. It has gone on for 1.5 hours, but and I apologize for that. But the subject was so interesting, and both the speakers were so interesting and speaking from their own experience. I think that is the key. So thank you very much, and we'll close the decennial celebration for this month with this on this note. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you,
Shashidhar.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Shashidhar. Thank you, Mr. Santosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, right, sir.
Thank you.